When the door was left open, she didn't just forget to lock the front door, she left it wide open. The heavy evening air drifted in from the street, dragging the scent of rain-soaked concrete and cut grass into the hallway. The TV glowed in the living room, talking to no one. On the couch, her handbag lay sideways like it had been tossed carelessly, one strap dangling down, the other crushed beneath a throw pillow. The keys were still jammed in the lock, metal still rattling from the breeze. I stood in the entryway, staring at the disarray, the careless trail of absence. It felt like walking into a stranger's home after a break-in. Not yours, not anymore. Ben, our golden retriever, trotted up to me with his tail low, ears pinned back, whimpering as if he'd done something wrong. But I knew it wasn't him. I looked at the time. 9:47 p.m. She told me she'd be back by 8:30. Just dinner with the girls, she said, smiling like it was nothing. She wore that tight black dress, the one she hadn't touched in years. She used to joke about saving it for emergencies, like some kind of weapon in the back of her closet. I guess tonight qualified. I reached for her purse and opened it. Lipstick uncapped, smearing red across a receipt. The cap had been shoved in sideways. The receipt was from Lina Del Mar, an upscale wine bar, not the one she claimed they were going to. 2 cocktails. Tiramisu. Claire hates tiramisu. I stared at that small slip of paper like it might transform, like I might misread the name or the timestamp or the total and find something innocent hidden inside. But the more I looked, the more the truth screamed. Deep old scream. The kind that's been echoing inside you for months before you finally hear it. The changes started quietly. She stopped laughing at my jokes. Not even the courtesy laugh. Just silence like I hadn't spoken. She used to kiss my shoulder before heading to work, even if I was half asleep. That faded into rushed exits, jingling keys and slamming doors. I blamed her job. She was a brand strategist at a boutique agency taking on high-profile clients. Long hours. Press. New hires. One name kept coming up. Jason. Jason said this. Jason nailed that pitch. Jason, Jason, Jason. First I didn't think twice. Work friends, right? People bond under deadlines. But then she started dressing differently. Tight pencil skirts. Subtle heels. She'd leave the house in flats, then switch in the car. I once asked why, and she looked at me like I'd questioned her intelligence. Then her phone became an extension of her hand. Face down. Always. Notifications turned off. One night I saw his name flash. Just Jason. No message. Just that name. I didn't confront her. I convinced myself I was imagining things. Until that night. She walked in at 10:18 p.m. cool. Collected. Her face barely changed when she saw me. Just tightened slightly before she slapped on a tired smile. "You're still up?" she asked like I'd done something wrong. He nodded. "Where's Dana?" Her blink was too slow. "Huh. You said you were going out with Dana and Lisa." "Oh." Dana bailed. I ended up running into Jason and his team. They were already out at Lina's. "Interesting," I said. "Did Dana enjoy the tiramisu?" Was. A flicker of something in her eyes. Then a laugh. Forced. "Hello." "Oh my God." "What?" "Well, I mean, we didn't eat much. It was just a drink." "I didn't even." "You don't like tiramisu?" She narrowed her eyes like I'd committed a crime. "What does that have to do with anything?" No apology. No explanation. Just that sarcastic shrug and a kiss on the cheek that felt like a slap. She went upstairs. I didn't follow. I stayed on the couch, Ben curled at my feet, the fan spinning overhead like a lazy sentinel. The receipt sat in my palm like a confession no one had the decency to speak out loud. And the next morning, she pretended none of it happened. Asked how I wanted my eggs. Wore a new shade of lipstick. I didn't eat. I watched. She wasn't afraid. That's what hit me. She wasn't even trying to cover her tracks. Not really. She thought I'd swallow it all, like always. Lunch, I called Dana. She sounded surprised to hear from me. We weren't close. No, I haven't seen Claire in over a week. Why? I didn't answer. I didn't need to. The silence between us said enough. Then Dana's voice sharpened. She told you I was with her. I ended the call. I didn't want to drag Dana into it. But I needed the truth to hit me like a train, and it did. I drove straight to her office. Sat in the coffee shop across the street watching. The floor-to-ceiling windows glowed. Eventually they emerged, Claire and Jason. They weren't walking like coworkers. They weren't laughing like friends. He touched her back. She leaned in. Her laugh was real. Blick, blick, blick. 3 photos. Clean. Undeniable. I didn't call her. I didn't scream. I emailed her HR. Just the photos. No drama. No signature. This may concern your company's internal policies. That night she said she had a client dinner. How was Dana? Asked. What? Your dinner with Dana. Oh yeah. Sushi. It was great. Tiramisu, I said, not blinking. She exhaled hard through her nose and left the room. 2 days later she called me from work. They want to talk to me. Char, she said. Her voice trembled. Someone sent them photos. This could be serious. I didn't say anything. Just listened. She waited. But I gave her the silence she'd given me for months. That night she didn't come home. And I didn't reach out. At 2:23 a.m., a car pulled into the driveway. I didn't move. She stumbled in, heels in one hand, makeup smeared, hair tangled. You scared me, she said. Didn't mean to. Thought you were at Dana's. I was. She called. Said she hasn't seen you in over a week. Her heel slipped from her hand. She caught it barely. I slept there. She was out. You're being paranoid. Jason. Oh, come on. Jason, I repeated. She turned, grabbed her bag, brushed past me. You've been acting insane. Showing up at my job. Snooping. Should I check the vents for hidden cameras? I stepped into her path. Quiet. I saw you with him. She stopped. You don't look at me like that anymore, I said. She looked me dead in the eye. You mean like someone who doesn't sigh when I come home? Who doesn't eat dinner without checking out? And then, like a knife to the chest, I moved on. Just like that. I locked the bedroom door that night. Ben slept beside me. Claire took the couch. The crack between us had become a canyon. I wasn't building bridges anymore. I started preparing. Quietly. I gathered statements. Bank records. Photos. Uber receipts. Hotel charge. $267.95. 5 miles from her office. A team retreat, she'd said. I printed them all. Kept them behind the boiler. 3 consultations later I hired Marla Dunn. Attorney, strategist, blunt instrument of justice. She left you emotionally months ago, Marla said. You're just catching up. I paid the retainer the same afternoon. Claire had no idea. That night she made chicken parmesan. My favorite. Smiled over wine like we were newlyweds. I ate 2 bites and said I had emails to catch up on. I started separating my life from hers. New logins. Bank accounts. I took photos of every asset. The house was mine. Bought before marriage. No shared title. She noticed the distance. One night, folding laundry, she said, "You've been cold." I folded a towel. Like disappearing until 2 a.m. Or lying about who you're with. She flinched. Understood. I already have what I need. 3 days of silence passed. On the 3rd she finally said it. So. That's it. I didn't turn. I already left. I just haven't shut the door yet. Her voice cracked. He wasn't supposed to matter. But he did, I said. She shook her head. I made a mistake. Turned face blank. No. You made a choice. Over and over again. She looked at me like she didn't recognize who I was. That's when I realized. Neither did I. And that wasn't a bad thing. The day I filed, I left the house early. Ben rode with me in the passenger seat. tongue out the window like freedom tasted good. Claire would get the papers within a week. And when she did, she'd finally understand what she lost. Not just a husband, but the one person who would have stood beside her in any storm. If only she hadn't left the front door wide open. The paper cut. Claire got the envelope on a Thursday. I wasn't there to see her open it, but I could imagine the scene. Her perfectly manicured fingers slicing it open, expecting a bill or some appointment reminder. Instead, she found a couriered letter stamped from Marla Dunn's office, titled, "Petition for Divorce, Irreconcilable Differences." She didn't call. Didn't text. Not even a question mark. But I felt the shift, like someone had knocked the wind out of her from 3 blocks away. That night she came home 2 hours late again. Her hair was still done, but her eyes were bloodshot, makeup creased around the corners. She walked past me like a ghost, dropped her bag by the stairs, and disappeared upstairs without a word. I didn't follow. I was done with that. The next morning, she tried to reclaim the illusion. She wore the old university hoodie she hadn't touched in years. She brewed coffee and made 2 cups like we were still we. When I didn't come to the kitchen, she brought mine upstairs. I didn't open the door. I let the cup sit there. She waited a minute, then walked away. Later I heard her on the phone in the guest room, whispering, "Panic. I don't know who told them. Someone sent HR pictures. No, he hasn't said anything, he just filed." Then silence. Just quiet sobs muffled by the pillow she once stole from my side of the bed. The fallout at work came faster than I expected. 2 days after the papers were served, Claire's position was restructured. Officially, she resigned. Unofficially, she was escorted out with her desk contents in a cardboard box. I only knew because Dana texted me. FY. They let her go. Jason too. She's not handling it well. Just brace yourself. I didn't reply. That night Claire cooked again. Pasta this time. Cheap wine. She tried to pretend like it was just another Thursday. But she wasn't humming anymore. I didn't touch the food. "I lost my job," she said finally. Waited. No severance. No references. Jason's blaming me. As I crossed lines. Can you believe that? Him. I tilted my head. You mean the guy who just made you feel alive? Her face twisted. I was angry when I said that. Understood. You were honest. The days passed like molasses in winter. Claire stopped trying to pretend. The makeup disappeared. The wine bottles multiplied. She stopped asking how I was. Stopped asking anything really. I had already moved my documents, opened a new P.O. box, changed the locks on the storage unit. Then I visited my mother's cabin upstate, alone, to clear my head. I stayed 3 nights. Woke up with sunbeams instead of lies. I walked Ben through the trails, breathing real air, not the filtered staleness of a house pretending to be a home. On the last night, I sat on the porch watching the sky. Stars pierced the black like truth through illusion. And for the first time in a long time I felt weightless. When I returned, Claire was gone. No note. Just her things missing from the closet and bathroom sink. Her nightstand empty. The scent of her shampoo finally gone from the pillow. She didn't slam the door on the way out. She didn't take Ben. She didn't even take the hoodie she bought me, the one she thought might patch the hole she ripped through our lives. I found it still folded on the couch. The silence wasn't painful anymore. It was clean. A different kind of beginning. 6 months later, the divorce was finalized. Clean, uncontested. Claire never showed up to court. Marla said she likely couldn't face the record. The evidence, the statements, the timeline. Not because she was sorry, but because she hated not controlling the ending. I sold the house 2 months after that. Moved into a smaller place across town. Big enough for Ben and me. Light poured through the windows like an apology. I went back to school part-time. Finished the graphic design program I dropped years ago when we were saving for Claire's dream wedding. Turns out I still loved it. I started smiling again, the real kind. Even laughed out loud the day Ben tried to chase his own shadow across the kitchen tiles and skidded into a chair. Every now and then, I'll get a notification that someone viewed my old social profile. A burner name, maybe. Probably her. I don't block it. Let her look. Let her see that I'm living, not just existing. Because I didn't just survive betrayal. I outgrew it.